This is the fourth video of the shopping list hack witch. So I am here in the content view. I have my starter app, which is just grabbing the content view, and then I have two other views. One creates my own data type, which is a quantity and an integer, or takes in a quantity and an integer, and the other one displays that information. So in my content view, I'm going to pull this off to the side. The last thing I did was I updated this list to pull the information from a list. This is a V stack, so it's going through the items, and then the other is in an H stack so that it goes side by side. You can display how you want to, but this is just the way that I like it. In the content view, I want to be able to add to my shopping list. So in order to add to, I need to put some text fields up here. I need to put a button up here. I also, when I add to, I'm going to have the user input into my app. So I need to be able to store in a variable whatever they put in and then bind it to the information down, or the information that displays out. So I need to be able to have that memory store for the user putting in information. So we're going to put in two at states. Remember that at state says, hey, watch me constantly and update me throughout the code as the person uses it. And I'm going to put this in as a string, and I'm going to put this in as an empty string, which means open and close parentheses or quotations. I'm going to do a second at state. So this is going to be allowing the person to put in an item, bread, eggs, whatever it happens to be, bell peppers, whatever it happens to be. I'm going to do another one for new quantity, new item quantity. This one is going to take in an integer, but I don't know what integer to put, and I don't want to put 0 because that just, no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say int, and I'm going to put that question mark, and that question mark is again that promise. I promise there's going to be something there, and if not, we're going to default. So now I'm going to hit allow. Nothing should change up here because I just created those two memory storage. I haven't added anything to it. Down here in my var body, below my var body, I'm going to put in an H stack because I want there to be the quantity, the item, and then the button. So I'm going to put in an H stack. And inside this H stack, I'm going to put in a text fields. I'm going to put in the quantity first. You can do it in either order, but I'm going to put in a text field. And I'm going to do the one that is the text key, I'm sorry, the title key value format. Remember, not the formatter, the format. Because I'm going to put in the quantity, and a quantity is a number. So I need to make sure that I tell the computer, hey, expect a number here. This one is going to say, whenever I see localized string, enter a quantity. The value is going to be binding. So I'm going to do that $, and I'm going to bind it to the new item quantity, and it should come up. There we go. And then the format is going to be a number. All right, I shouldn't have any errors. And now I should, if I hit allow, I should be able to see it now. I have this enter quantity. It's up here at the top, and I'm going to format it in 1 second, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. I also want to be able to put in a text fields for the item itself. So right inside the H stack, right underneath the text field, I'm going to do a text field. And this time it's going to be a title key text because I want the person to be able to put in a word. So my title key text, again, it's going to say enter item. And again, that's binding is going to be binding up to that new item name. So $, new item name. And now if I hit allow to compile, there we go. I have my enter new item name. Lastly, I want to put a button here so that the person can confirm. So still inside my H stack, right underneath my text field, I'm going to put in a button. We use two different types of buttons. We use the title action and the action label. I'm going to put in an action label. We haven't used this one in a while, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to leave my action alone for a second, and I'm going to put in, instead of the word button right here, I want to put in a picture of like a little plus sign, kind of like a real app. So I'm going to go up here. I've got this highlighted blue. I'm going to go up here to my circle and star, and I want something called a plus circle. That to me just kind of says add that. So again, now if I hit allow, I have this plus circle that appears. This whole thing looks a little janky up here, so I'm going to format. So I'm going to format with maybe making this font. Fabulous. Maybe making this font a large title, just so that it's a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to format the whole H stack at one time. So my H stack ends right here, down right above my V stack. So I'm going to put a formatter, and I'm going to format everything. So I'm going to do a text field style, and I'm going to do a rounded border. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do some padding just to bring things away from the edge. So now if I hit allow, this looks a little bit better. So now I can put in this 7, I can put in bread, and I can add, oh, remember, nothing's happening right now because I haven't told the button to do anything yet. So that's what I'm going to work on now. All right, so I need to put that action in here. I need to create the action. These up here, and this is kind of a new thing that we're learning. This is called a global variable, or these are global variables. And some of you guys are like, why are the words private? Well, private means that to protect them and only allow them to be changed where you do. However, they also have some unprivate ones, or you have some ones that are a little bit less protected. These are less protected, and we actually don't care for what we're using. These global variables can be used throughout the entire code. I want the list to be updated when the button is pressed. So I'm going to do what's called a local variable so that I can put it inside the code, and it only gets activated when the button gets pressed. So here I have my action. I'm going to confirm that I want a open and close parentheses, and I'm going to code inside this action. My local variable is going to be a let. I could use a var. I would get a warning, one of those yellow triangles, because I'm not going to change it. And essentially, I'm not changing the ability to add to the list. I'm changing the list. I'll show you in 1 second. So I'm going to say add or let new item. So again, this is a new item. It is going to update, but it's not going to, I'm not changing the ability to do it. So I can use a constant, which is a let. And I'm going to do shopping list items, and notice that it comes up. I want the one that says name and quantity, which is going to be very similar to the variable items that we have up here. Name and quantity. Inside the name, I'm not going to bind it. So this is the crazy part about this. I'm not binding it because I'm not saying, hey, watch and update. I only want this to activate when the button gets hit. So I don't need to say like, hey, watch me constantly. As soon as this button gets updated, then this program launches. So I actually don't need to bind it. But I am going to say update the item new name, or new item name. And then the quantity, the ints, again, I have to promise that there's going to be something there. So I'm going to put that all in parentheses. I'm going to say new item quantity, and then I'm going to say if there's nothing, I'm asking that question. If there's nothing, default to 1. This was about to warn me that I created it and I haven't used it. Is immutable, was never used. Why are you having me create something that you haven't used? Well, let's use it now. So what I want to do is when a new item is entered, I want to append, which means add it to the list of items. So I'm going to, down here, I'm going to say items, grabbing that list, and say append, and I'm going to say append that new item that you just grabbed. My warning should go away. And now if I hit allow, I have, let's say 2, and let's say that I want to type in bread. When I hit this plus button, it goes down at the bottom. Cool. So now I have a okay grocery list. It does start with things. If I wanted to clear those out, then I absolutely could. And I could just start with an empty. I cannot get rid of this whole thing because this items list is what is being called to create that list. So I could essentially start with an empty list. The other thing that I want to change, and this is pretty much the last thing that I want to do, is I want to clear it. So here, if I have 3 bread, and I want to add one more thing, I have to clear that out. Well, the easiest way for me to clear this out is to simply in here, inside the action, as soon as the items are appended, I'm just going to take the new item name and new item quantity. New item name, new item name, and I'm going to set that back to an empty string. And then my new item quantity, I'm going to set that to nil, which means nothing, not 0, because if I put 0 in here, then I'll show you. If I put 0 in here, then if I hit something like 7 bread, this would go to 0, and then I'd have to clear that out. So I want to grab nothing. I want to grab nothing so that when I put something in here to bread, it clears out and I can add something. I can add it back in. So that's kind of playing around with a shopping list. I have my list. Challenge yourself to see if you can start with an empty list, but this is a good way of breaking out views so that you don't hit that limit, and adding to a list, also clearing out the list. Also, remember we have that promise. I promised that there's going to be something there. So what if I put something in the quantity that is not a number, and I say, gang, let's put in bread as nothing. Well, I promise that if a number doesn't get put in here, that it's just going to default to 1. So I can't crash the code by putting something crazy up here like a non-number, because I've protected myself using this, which promises to put something, and then it's called unwrapping down here. So I've promised that there's going to be something there. It's kind of like a Christmas present or like a birthday present. I've promised that there's going to be something there, and then I unwrap it. If there's nothing there, I'm so sorry, default to 1 so that it doesn't crash. All right, that is actually the whole of this. This code can be what's called refactored, which means more views can be pulled out. But this is a really good start with understanding how to do the unit overall final, which is a assignment notebook. At this point, you're going to screenshot something. Remember, I'm looking to make sure that you don't have any errors. Let me know what questions you have, and that's the Hackwitch.